one. Okay, so just to make you think, all these things we've been hearing about internet, technology, and everything sounds really nice, okay? But when we ask someone like Steve Cadigan, who is the VP of Talent in LinkedIn, he always asks the same questions. Okay, that's cool, but what's driving value in your organization? What's the driver in delivering success? What's the limiting factor for exponential growth? And the answer is, which is the answer? Okay, it's pretty obvious. It's talent. Okay, it's not so much about the technology. It's much about the people who run the technology. Okay, and we're facing a lot of challenges in this world. I'm Nacho de Pinedo. I'm a digital optimist. Okay, so I think this digital world will bring more good things than bad things. So that's why I'm optimist. I come from the marketing world. I'm founder of my own company, which is ISDI. I'm director of some programs. I'm member of several committees of the industry. I'm business angel, and I'm a mentor and initiator of several crowdfunds and accelerators. So ISDI is a complex organization which was created by the most important digital professionals in Spain and is present in different parts of the world with different branches that includes accelerators, includes face-to-face programs, e-learning, agreements with Harvard and other universities, and so on. Okay, but I want to talk about whether this is an era of changes or if it's the change of an era. And I think most of us will agree that we are basically in this field. And there is a new consumer ecosystem which includes search engines, social networks, online video, microblogging, smartphones, tablets, e-commerce, group buying, and sharing economy that are basically this scenario is changing the way we make business and the way the corporations have to do things. And corporations are changing constantly, but now they cannot cope with the speed of the change that we are facing right now. And that makes the people like this guy anxious and sometimes afraid. Some people start thinking that the digital transformation is something about technology. Even Jeff, who is the CEO of General Electric, at the beginning thought, hey, this is a thing about technology, but soon realized that the digital transformation is just the translation of our business to a digital world, to a digital era. Okay, and that includes not only technology, it includes organization, includes recruiting, includes profiling, includes a lot of things related to talent. So there is a new path of challenge in the new organization in the digital era. That includes how do we create employer branding? We want the best people to be in our companies. How do we select that talent? How do we create or design new competences? And how do we train the people that are within our companies? Because remember one thing, it's not about hiring people from the outside. It's as well about training the people that are inside our companies, okay, to cope with this world. It's about processes, how we can create processes that turn ideas into actions within the company, because sometimes we bring the best people, but there are no processes that make the good ideas stand out and convert into executions. How we organize our culture in this liquid environment, and finally, how we create a culture, a leadership culture in this world. Okay, so it's basically a new talent cycle that will bring us to this new era. And there are some things that are frightening to many companies. One is Glassdoor. I don't know if you're familiar with Glassdoor. It's like a trip advisor for companies. So if you want to enter in a company right now, you first go to Glassdoor and there will be people talking about that company, people who have been recently interviewed in that company, saying what are the questions that they've been asked, what's the salary they have been offered, and there will be employees of that companies talking well or talking bad about that companies. So we are living in a world of glass now. There are things like LinkedIn in terms of recruiting that will give you a very good idea of who the guy you are interviewing is or who your boss is. Now it works in both ways. Okay, now again, in terms of selection, it's incredible. And the good thing about this is not like a cold CV that I'm writing and sending to you that may contain a lot of lies. It's something that it's endorsed by a lot of people here, people with faces that you can ask that say, hey, these guys say that I am a good guy in digital marketing, okay? So this is much more honest and more transparent. It's about understanding as well what our business is and how business have changed. Okay, now any business now, it's about targeting people who are in the social networks who already have a reputation. They think about your company in a way because your company has a reputation in that field. It's about creating windows of interaction in that digital cloud that create, on the one side, awareness of your company, and on the other side, findability. So when people are looking needs which are related to what you are selling, they will find you. It's about building traffic to some digital assets where you have to create engagement and conversion. And it's about creating a relationship with a client that you can download in a data lake, which is a CRM. And this relationship, it's interesting because once you know this client, you can call him and bring him back to you, make him repeat purchases. And it's very interesting because if that client had a bad experience with you, he will increase your bad reputation at the top end of the funnel. Okay, so it's like a closed circle that you have to understand, and that's basically what we call the user experience in the digital world. So having understood that this is a kind of model for every business, we have to understand what are the new areas of knowledge. And there is something called digital marketing that has a strategic view on all this funnel, but you have to have people who understand social media, search engines, digital advertising, content design and user experience, e-commerce, CRM in the digital world, and of course, some things which are vertical to the whole model, which are metrics, technology, mobile, or big data. Okay, so these are new knowledges that are needed for the new models of the company of this century. Okay, so okay, that's okay. I understand that I need people who understand about these fields, but what are they? Are they? That's interesting, but take into account that each of these fields have several professions within it. Okay, if you go to the content strategy or design and UX, there are a bunch of new professions that didn't exist 5 years ago. Same in the social media area. You have guys who are like buzz analysts. You all know what a buzz analyst is? Okay, the guy who analyzes the noise of your brand in the social networks. You have people who are like traffickers or real-time bidding managers, or people who are working on a profile that didn't exist 5 years ago. You have ASO curators, the people who are working in the optimization of your apps within a given Android or iOS market, which are things that of course didn't exist 7 years ago. And you have people in e-commerce for basically all the ways of the e-commerce field. Okay, so there are new professions that we don't know what they are. Most of us know what a lawyer does. Most of us know what an engineer does. Yes? No? Yeah? What does a community manager do? What's his scope of job? If I ask that question to one person here, will tell me something different to that person over there, because they are jobs that are not just they are not cemented yet. Okay, so what we've done is basically we ran a survey using like 80 companies, and we have defined most of these professions. What a community manager is, what's their main responsibilities, skills, some role models, what the tools they have to use, and we've done this for several digital jobs. Okay, so we basically have designed a new world of professions, which is a job that we're doing with the European Union to try to define the new professions map for the year 2020. Okay, and apart from that, there are some things that are inherent to the new change, which is now in the companies there are like 3 generations working together: millennials, the old generations, okay, myself, Generation X, and people from the new digital mobile world. And the difficult thing in a company is handling these profiles together, because the old guys are like dogs, okay? They think the company is wonderful and the company is God. The millennials think they are God, okay? So you have to treat them in a different way, and that's really tricky, okay? So with all these new profiles in your head, these ideas in your head, these different people working, we cannot work in this kind of charts, which, by the way, they are not efficient never, because the real charts are more like this. It's more about who the people are and what are the related interests in each of them, okay? We have to work in a different organizational chart, which could be very similar to the one that Spotify is using, which is about tribes, okay? About people working in a specific project for a given time, regardless in which department they are working in the long run, okay? So it's something informal and liquid. That's the way we have to go. And we have to understand what the startups are doing. We have to learn from them, and we have to mirror ourselves in the mirror of the startups to understand how they are doing these kind of things. And given that a startup is defined as a company that is trying to solve a problem in an environment where the solution is not guaranteed, okay, we have to understand that now that's the scenario that we have in every company. It's not only in a startup. The largest company that you can imagine now responds clearly to that definition. So we have to understand what they do. And they basically are working in this kind of processes. They are working in lean management processes where failure is not a problem, where they are designed to fail. They build experiments, they throw the experiments to the market, and once they are there, they learn and they pivot, or they change, or they close the experiment, or whatever. Okay? So even in the world of organization and talent, we have to work like this. Okay? And something interesting as well is this kind of talent handling efficient for the company? We've done a survey in 30 companies, 700 interviews, a work of 1 year, and what we have proven is that the companies that are taking this digital leadership are more efficient than those that are not doing in terms of production. Okay, but we didn't know why was this, and we analyzed it, and this was because this kind of talent organization creates more engagement in the employee. That's the reason. Okay, it's not because they are introducing new technologies or whatever. It's because this way of working creates more employee engagement. So to end up, what's the role of talent in the digital business world? How close to the business should be? Something like this. okay? It's the talent have to go together with the business, okay? They have to go together all the time, and sometimes we are frightened because we don't know what this is. And we try to separate both things, but of course it's impossible, okay? So talent and business have to go together. Okay, famous last words. Digital transformation is a challenge of management, okay? So if you're working in a company, think about the talent, think about the organization. Don't think it very much, okay? Do it now, okay? Or if you think this is something of the future, I have bad news for you. The future is already here, okay? Thank you very much.
Nacho. Pleasure having you.